Welcome back to the show. Tonight we are talking about career growth and strategic success. And it's been fascinating so far, and we've had some wonderful guests, and it doesn't stop now because our next guest is the Vice President in Education Technology and Digital Innovation at GEMS Education. And he is bridging the gap between education and industry needs. Please welcome Baz Nijjar. Baz, thank you so much for being here. Let's get straight into it. When it comes to education, technology, this country really forces that. You was in the UK before. Have you seen a big difference in GEMS and what they're doing in the last 10 years you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for having me on the show. As you've already alluded to, this country already is pushing the boundaries, especially in innovation, in education technology, but also bringing new opportunities to the region so that you can push the boundaries of what you would traditionally expect education to encompass. And one of that is to do with bringing in industry, bringing in the level of competency that you normally would expect at university and beyond to a K-12 space.
Okay, so I've actually seen this article online once where it shows you a comparison of pictures of hospitals 50 years ago and hospitals now. And then cinema, malls, everything has changed massively. And then a classroom, and it hasn't changed. What kind of changes do you want to see in the classroom?
Well, you're right in one sense that in terms of the traditional expectations of a classroom are still there, in that the teacher leads and the students follow. But luckily within GEMS Education, we have been able to push the boundaries of how a student should be leading their own journey in their education provision, given the support that we can provide, whether that's through the teacher's expertise, whether that's a type of activities and initiatives that we provide. For example, bringing in industry professionals to support them and develop their mindset beyond the traditional classroom is not something that existed, a long time ago. And with the use of technology, they're able to explore beyond the classroom, whether that's through activities and initiatives that are not within the curriculum time, or we can bring in to the curriculum time something that normally you would have to wait until you're at university, or even when you've fully fledged, yourself into a new career.
Now, Baz, we know that the UAE is motivated, but I want to know about the kids because, it's a classic thing. The older generation is always critical of the younger generation since ancient Rome. But as far as we're concerned, they all want to be YouTubers. How true is that, or is it a misconception? How are you seeing them excited for the workplace?
Yeah, look, there is a slight misconception in that they all want to be YouTubers. Of course, that is a new form of employability that didn't exist before, right? There's always an evolution in industry from 1.0, from manufacturing and industrial estates to now, for example, technology leading the way. And a lot of that is because they are exposed to that, and at the end of the day, these YouTubers are entrepreneurs at heart. They're the ones that have seen something and took advantage of the opportunity and developed and created into a new career that didn't exist before. And what we're trying to do is flip the narrative. That should be an inspiration for students to explore, expand what they feel the future job should look like, and challenge the status quo, so you're not always going into traditional roles.
I like that, because if you think about it as well, when you get a YouTuber coming into a school, they can give them the real deal. They can tell them exactly what it's like, the hours it takes, and all of these things. So it gives it that integration and education, because at the end of the day, that's what it's
I find that hilarious because my son's on a YouTuber now. Thanks a lot, Faris.
And so am I. He's coming for me.
I want to be a YouTuber.
I want to go back to what Dr. Sheen was saying earlier about how, there are things changing now in the classrooms. Now, speaking of change, obviously, back in the day, we thought that school was made to churn out employees and workers. How is that changing now? Are we trying to mold more entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Look, we will always require employees for various job markets, but we want to bring that knowledge and experience to a younger audience. So you're making decisions possibly at a younger age than you would before. And the only way that can happen is if you bring industry and education together, so that we are preparing them for those roles, as you would be in any era, but we're able to also guide them because of the opportunities of speaking to the industry providers, and what are the jobs for the future? How are we able to integrate some of those skill sets within the education environment, bring them to the classroom? An aspect of that is also the entrepreneurial mindset. As we've just used an example, the YouTuber is actually an entrepreneur. They're looking at how can I gain, whether it's viewers or followers and sponsors and so forth. There's a financial element behind it. It's, for some, just a camera in front of their face, but actually there's a whole business infrastructure behind that that children need to be aware of. It's not just about showcasing who you are. There's a whole element that they need to learn. It's not to be biased towards one or the other. If you want to go down the university route, it's there. If you want to go straight into industry and into a job, it's there. We are also providing internships at a younger age now as well, so they get that world experience. So they understand what would it look like to work for a corporate or work for an industry provider, and maybe that will help them make decisions at an earlier stage. We can also bring courses and content into learning environments at an earlier age as well, so that they understand what are the skills required and how transferable are they. If I didn't particularly like my journey in one direction, how can I switch to another direction? That's the key component that we are here to deliver.
So is that the startup fund that you were talking about, the billion, is that what you were referring to?
That's one of the pathways, as I mentioned, when our chairman and founder, Mr. Sunny Vaki, always wants to provide additional opportunities to say, right, where is your passion? What is it that will make you intrinsically motivated to find your pathway? And maybe that's not the pathway you stick to in the future, but we want to bring that opportunity to you at an early age. One of those examples is the Next Billion EdTech Startup Fund that we've started, where he's proposing, GEMS has $1 million into a fund where we will enable students with the best ideas to present that in partnership with Plug and Play, which is one of the leading incubator funds in the world. They have over 30 unicorns at early investment. And what we've said to them is, how can you bring that knowledge and expertise at a younger age so students can understand and learn what it takes to develop a business, what it takes to go from ideation to creation to the market space, so we can filter out those ideas, but more importantly, provide them the pathway within whilst they're still in school to potentially make the next big business that will make a difference around the world.
I want to go back to school.
It's cool to be a kid, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Baz Nijjar, you're doing the most important job in the world, and thank you so much for being on DXB today.
Thank you.
But for now, before we let you go, Dr. Sheen, we actually have DXB in 64. We're going to put you on the spot for 60 seconds, and Louie's going to be the one to do it.
Okay.
Don't you worry about it, Dr. Sheen. It's going to be all about you. So we want to know more about you in 60 seconds. Are you ready?
Done. Let's go.
Your 60 seconds starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Your first job.
Consultant.
Your worst ever job.
Consultant.
Oh no. Your motto in life and in work.
If it takes away happiness, it's not worth it.
Top tip for people looking to build their careers.
Know what you're looking for before you apply for anything.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Michelle Obama.
Best way to unwind after a stressful day?
Swim at the beach.
Your go-to restaurant in Dubai?
Oh, that's a tough one. Or Fali.
A book, movie, or series that you'd like to recommend?
Series, I think I grew up with Big Bang Theory, so I'm going to say that one. I'm a nerd at heart.
Love that. A superpower you wish you had?
To read people's mind.
Oh, yes. A goal you want to achieve this year?
Take the podcast international.
Oh, wow. And one last, why Dubai?
It's the land of opportunity, and it's sunny all the time.
Nice one.
Perfect. Wonderful. Dr. Sheen, thank you so much for being here. You've done an amazing job there, answering those questions. Really fun, entertaining, and very educational as well. So can you please come back?
Of course, anytime. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Baz, really appreciate you. As Faris alluded to, you are really doing an important job. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So don't go anywhere, because after the break and to close the show, we have a dancer, singer, and musician. She does it all. See you soon.